Myself and hundreds of millions of Canadian kids grew up in the burbs, waking up on Saturday morning and beelining to our black and white TVs to be taken to another place. Mesmerized we were by the fantabulous, the hilarious House of Frightenstein, starring Billy Van, and our next guest here to talk about those days and the Dark Carnival Expo. Mitch Markowitz is here with us. And my gosh, you're dapper.
Well, thank you.
I'm sorry, the first thing out of the gate is I don't care about what you're doing. Who is your tailor?
A little bit LA, a little bit New York, a little bit of a mishmash.
Wow, it's really great. I'm just going to, why don't you interview yourself? I'm just going to check out your outfit while I do this.
And thank you for the terrific introduction.
Well, thank you.
I'm so happy to hear that you watched the show.
Yes, again, when people yesterday realized they were coming, heard your name, they went, ah. Literally, it was like jazz heads to them. It was great.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah. What memories do those days bring back to you?
I mean, my God. What memories? My head's flooded with memories. I guess the biggest one was working with Billy.
Yep.
And I have not worked with anyone who is as funny and as fast since. Mm-hmm. And of course, Vincent Price. I'll never, ever forget that experience.
Right.
He was such an incredible guy, such a nice, warm human being. And unlike most celebrities I've worked with, a real sort of down-to-earth kind of guy. And
scary?
Well, when he turned the button on, he was scary. Actually, there's a funny story about that.
Go ahead.
We went to the set, first day of shooting. Vincent appeared to be on a balcony, and I was lying on the ground beneath him, and I was going to hand him up whatever prop I thought was appropriate for that particular bit. We got about 15 minutes into shooting. My brother, Riff, was in the control room. Actually, CHCH didn't have a real control room at that point. They had one in a bus parked in the parking lot. Okay. And Riff got on the PA and said, Mitch, Vincent, we have to have a meeting. Next thing you know, he came running onto the set, and Vincent and he and I had a meeting, and he said, Vincent, you're just not scary. We hired you to be scary. And Vincent said, listen, Riff, if you want scary, you have to write scary. And the stuff you wrote is cute, and it all rhymes, and it's fun, but it ain't scary. So we called the two writers we had assigned to write his bits, and we told them exactly what Vincent had said, and that you have to go back into that room over there. We did all the pre-production work in a sort of mansion in Etobicoke, where we were living at the time. And you're not coming out of that room, no toilet breaks, no food, until you've rewritten all 130 hour-long bits for Vincent Price. Next thing I know, about 24 hours later, big knock on the door. They said, we're finished. We let them out. They went to the toilet and they ate, and the rest is history. They wrote 130 new episodes, all scary.
Tell me about Dark Carnival.
Dark Carnival, very exciting.
Yes.
Dark Carnival is being put on by Rue Morgue magazine and a number of other sponsors. And it's this weekend, Saturday and Sunday, at the Hamilton Convention Center. The who's who of horror are going to be there, horror royalty, and I'm so excited to work with all of them. Guillermo del Toro is sort of headliner.
Wow.
Bill Moseley, Georgie Romero, and I guested in his Night of the Living Dead live in Toronto when they had the Toronto run. And Paul Mahalka, who was the original director of My Bloody Valentine.
This is it. This is like you said, this is the gold standard.
Absolutely.
Right.
The who's who of horror are going to be at that show. Plus, there are going to be panel discussions. I'm doing a panel discussion, and vendors and everything horror this Saturday and Sunday.
All right. You're a believer in the paranormal, and that's not just because, but you had a personal experience that brought you to that point?
I did. Actually, I did a show called Niagara's Most Haunted, and I did a couple of episodes. I guested on them, and we did indeed and in fact get in touch with some spirits. Yeah. And I talked to them, and they were, it sounded like they were coming from around 1812. We did it in Ridgeway, Ontario. This show is Friday night at Hamilton Place, and I'm doing it with Spooky Steph, who is the gal behind Haunted Hamilton, and it promises to be a very scary evening. All right. The audience is going to go through the building. We're going into the bowels of Hamilton Place, where no audience member has ever been before, backstage, under the stage, and with a complete paranormal expert team with all the equipment necessary. And we're hell-bound to find some spirits.
Okay, well, you know what? I'm going to be there in spirit.
Oh! You got me. You got me, man.
Good to see you, Mitch. It was a pleasure having you here.
My pleasure. By the way, we're doing a documentary on hilarious House of Frightenstein. I'm at the very early stages.
Okay.
And if there's any of your viewers that have any anecdotes or stories, get in touch with me at superhippie.com, and it's Hippy, and let me know what your stories are, and maybe we'll use them in the documentary.
You're a fascinating man, and you have a
thank you.
beautiful speaking voice.
Oh, thank you. Thank you very much.